And whenever we thought about making money, that was just just something we never thought about. But in fact, the God who can give you a great success in your endeavor can also give you great increase in your bank account. And so that's possible. So we spent over a decade doing that. My wife didn't work. She stayed home for the most part, worked a couple of jobs here and there, volunteered at the church for several years in a full-time capacity. I want to say that again, volunteered in a full-time capacity. We had very little income coming in. Well, while very little income's coming in, we're just racking up debt. Some of that is her school loans for a degree that she doesn't have. A lot of that was the fact that I found out they'll give you a $300 credit card for just about any store that you walk in. And so I said, yes, trick or treat, I'll take another one. And so I had all of these $300 credit cards coming out my ears. We had car loans. All of this debt had accumulated. And then we started to say, I think it's time for us to transition out of full-time ministry. And we did that. And I started a more traditional business that cost me a little over $10,000 to start. I think I probably recouped that, but not much more. So, we just added that to the debt, and it just helped us to kind of make do. At the same time, my wife was exiting a career that she had gotten into as a retail manager. And it was a big store. It wasn't like, any corporate store, there's a measure of mass to it, like a Gap or something like that. But she was doing something that it was called Bells. I think they're only in Florida, but that's like the size of a JCPenney or a Sears or a Macy's, that kind of size inventory and staff that you're dealing with. And so she was doing that, and she said, I want to exit this. And that's when she started considering joining a girl who she'd been watching for 18 months on Instagram. Wow. Doing It Works. And it took her 18 months to decide, but she joined as a customer. And within the next 24 hours, she said, let me go ahead and start my business because there's no need to wait. And she did. And from that point, we've gone from, I assume the day that we joined, we were the lowest income earner in the company. and
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, we started somewhere. So we were the lowest income earner, and now we're number 25 income earners in the company. And I do always want to make sure that I say she's 98% of that equation, and the 2% that I bring, I think moves us up from 25.2 to a full solid 25. But so we paid off $63,801.99 in debt in a 6-month period. Not being at the top of the company, we were actually kind of, if you looked at our compensation plan, we were right in the middle. And right in the middle of the compensation plan, we paid off all of that money in 6 months, put $25,000 in a savings account. By the way, something I'm real glad that I did right now in the next 2 months, which we haven't had to touch that a single time. So praise the Lord. But awesome. So we have money in savings. We've walked into the craziest time in anyone I've spoken to from 10 years old to 100 years old has said, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And we've walked into this with a savings account and an at-home business that pays the bills every month. So
that's awesome. No, I love your story, man. And you know what's great is, it's one of those stories that the average person out there can relate to. I mean, you guys were, your average American family out there just, making a huge difference with what you have done for a living. I mean, you've impacted a lot of lives. I've listened to your podcast, and, for those of you that are joining in now or in the future, you should look Jason up and follow him. He's always got great messages, and I love your personality too. And, I believe, you guys are a great power couple. And that's one thing that Brandy and I always look to associate with is power couples. I mean, I'm sure, she's a beast. I know your wife's a beast, but, I love how you guys work together synergistically, and it's awesome. So, and, in speaking to men here today, Jason, and I've heard some great wisdom from you, one of the thoughts in conversations I've had recently with a lot of different men is, today, some men, they can't get past their ego. Some men, they struggle with change. Some men feel very insecure. Some men lack in that decision-making process. And I know I've been there, and I know you've been there. I've heard you talk about it. So what would you share with men today? And, as far as your personal growth and your journey as a man and to where you guys have arrived. And for those of you that just joined, by the way, Jason and, Ashley Mayfield, they are amazing top income earners in our company, but just all around genuine people that are here. Today we are talking to the men, the warrior men today. But as a couple, you guys are awesome. And for those of you joining us, you're gonna hear more in this interview here today. So, but anyway, just your thoughts on that part of our conversation today, Jason.
Yeah, I think, in general, men, in the typical traditional and really the normative family, the men are the breadwinners. They are going out, producing every day. They come home. Mom's kind of taking care of everything. I was joking the other day with somebody because on my Social Security card, we had lost it when I was a kid, and when I started to go drive, when I was about to go drive, get my license and everything, my parents had divorced, and we couldn't find the Social Security card, so my dad had to order a Social Security card, and my name is misspelled on my Social Security card because that's how men are. It's just not stuff that we did. We're not home dealing with the home stuff, and so I think a lot of times what happens in that, though, behind the scenes without us realizing it, is we are developing our skills. We are accelerating in our career, and we confuse that this stuff is happening and it's getting better or it's growing, and we confuse that with the self and the personal development. And then all of a sudden something happens with men, whether that be a midlife crisis or, we've got to change careers, or all of a sudden I'm stuck in the house because nobody's letting me go to my job and I got to sit here and be around these kids all day long. And listen, men, I hear men talk about this all the time, how they love spending time with their kids and all they want to do is be with their kids. I know in our industry that gets pitched a lot. I'm still kind of like, hey, about an hour of y'all a day does me all the good in the world. and we could go our separate ways. Y'all go do something.
You're being real today.
Yeah, that's just the truth right there. I hear it all the time. Oh, we get to be a full-time family. I'm like, my God, I don't want to be a full-time family. I just want to do what I want to do. But so what happens is we come into some type of crossroads in our life where we realize that we have seen progress, but we actually haven't developed. We actually haven't grown in the areas that make an impact. For me, I was accelerating in my career. The ministry that I was involved in, while I was in front of people and it was actual presenting and a lot of times singing and doing stuff like that, there was a lot of technical metrics with our ministry. So I was able to see all of this stuff going around me and everything looked like it was moving forward. And then we decided to make a switch in careers, and I realized I don't think I have developed and grown as much as I thought I needed to. And so for a lot of men, when it comes to the personal development and the self-development, we live in a false dichotomy where we see things moving forward, but we actually aren't growing. And so one of the things that I would encourage any man in any state of life to do today, whether that be you've been in this industry for 20 years, or you're thinking about getting in this industry, or you're progressing in a traditional business career, or you've said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And, everybody just has to deal with me the way that I am. And I'm not going to change for anybody. I would encourage everybody in any of those situations to really start doing the work on your inner person. And so for me, that looks like a couple of things. One is that I am in the scripture every day. I read the Bible every day. As a matter of fact, the shirt I'm wearing, which is freaking you out because you're used to seeing me in solid black head to toe. I think this is the first time in over a year I've worn something with a shirt with something on it. And it's only because it just came in the mail. But this shirt is a program that I started, Tear Up Your Bible. Tear up your Bible. I tear up my Bible every day. I'm going through it. I'm getting in there. The great theologian Charles Spurgeon said that a Bible that's falling apart usually belongs to a person who isn't.
Wow.
What a great way to start every day is in the scripture. So that's one thing that I'm doing. Another thing is I'm journaling every day. Just a few sentences, probably no more than 5 sentences a day. I know when you hear journal, you think I got to write an essay every day. But I'm writing maybe 5 sentences a day, take an inventory of where I'm feeling, where my emotions are, what I need to accomplish for the day, things I like, things I didn't like from the day before, I journal every day. Another thing I do is I read about 10 pages of a book every day, a personal development book, not a history book or a fiction book, something that's challenging me on the way that I'm doing my life currently. And the third thing, or the fourth thing that I do, is I'm around people who are constantly growing and doing more. I have people in my life like a Mike, like a Joel, like a Tay, people who are constantly challenging the position of where they're at. Because listen, if I look at my life and the life of the average American, I'm doing well. We are certainly in the upper middle class, if not in the 1%. I don't get down into the numbers, so I don't really know. So we're in the upper middle to the 1%. I don't know, but I know I'm doing better than most people. I can tell you this. I know I'm doing better than my neighbors, who are, by the way, doctors and physicians and lawyers and people who are retired. The people on both sides of me are retired, and I do more of what I want than they do. So I know I'm doing well, and if I use that as the standard, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop growing and developing. So I have to make sure that at some point I'm around a Mike to challenge me to go to the next level. And I just want to say, Mike, I think you're a killer, absolute killer. I mean, I'm for real. I'm so challenged by you. I think I said it to you. We sat down with a bunch of men, and at an event recently, and I said, "So, Mike, how does it feel to be the one making the most money at this table?" Because you're a killer in the industry, man.
No, we have a lot of fun, but no, everything you just shared, Jason, was powerful. I mean, people pay thousands of dollars to attend events and seminars to get the information that you just kind of unleashed on everybody in a very short period of time.
And if anybody watching wants to send that to me, I will take it. I'm yes. Here. Okay.
Well, and I love that about you too. And that's actually a powerful message in itself, and I love what you just shared, time and financial freedom. It's powerful. It is very powerful. Let's talk about that for a minute, because, one thing I love about this company, Jason, is just what you said, the challenge, the people. When Brandy and I went to Costa Rica, I came back there, I was dumbfounded. And I think I told you this because I've seen a lot in this industry, and to see the top of this company, and I zoned in on the men, just to get to know them. And I was looking up to every single man that I met here. And that to me is exactly where I want to be. And that's my challenge to a lot of men that I work with, that, if you're looking down on people, if you feel like you've arrived, if you feel like you're done learning, don't take it personally, but I can't spend time with those people. And I love how you kind of put that in a bow here today. So let's talk about this company and that culture and the timing of what's happening. So real quick, for those of you that maybe you just joined or you're going to join here at a different time, and maybe this is the first time you ever looked at It Works Global, but, leadership from the top down, Mark and Cindy Pentecost, and the near 20-year-old company that's become $1 billion debt-free company. And they did this on one product, the wrap. And Jason, I know when you and your wife started, that was a primary product here, correct? That was one of the hot products at that time?
Yeah, I think the wrap was still a featured product, but it had hit the stride of life that got us where we are now.
Gotcha. Okay, so
yeah.
Let's fast forward to right now. We just came out of conference and we launched Skinny Brew. Where do you guys have made a lot of money. You've paid off a lot of debt. You're the 25th top income earner in the company. That's huge, man. That's awesome and exciting. And so how do you feel right now with what's happening with the company and Skinny Brew, and just kind of share those thoughts with us?
Well, I'm really excited. When it first happened, I don't think we might have, but I don't think that we knew that was coming. So it was new information to us when it hit at the event. But I just was able to look back, even though we just launched Skinny Brew, we've been selling coffee for quite a while now. We have a product called Keto Coffee. And for those of you who have done keto and lost weight, which we have had a great keto line, but I know for me, one of the things when you do keto is everybody goes, do the bulletproof coffee. Do the bulletproof coffee. And this is what it is. It's coffee, black coffee with butter in it and MCT oil. And you throw a little pink Himalayan salt in there. And there's science behind all of that. I don't understand it, but it makes you skinny. And I remember I was doing that because I was doing keto and I was doing this bulletproof coffee. And you have to take this coffee and butter and oil, and you put it in a blender and you blend it up every day. And I'm one of those guys, I don't like making a big mess. As a matter of fact, that's why I use a Keurig, because for me, a coffee filter was a giant mess. And here I am making this oily, greasy concoction every day that's all over everything. I mean, it's a mess. And I was so frustrated with it. And then we came out with this keto coffee, which is that synthesized into a powder form that you add water and bada bing, bada boom. You've got something that, in my opinion, tastes better, is easier to use, and gives you the same benefits as a bulletproof coffee.
Yep.
So we had been selling this for quite a while, and we were dealing with a lot of people doing keto. So we were selling the coffee. So the reality is, even though we just launched into the coffee business a few months ago, we've actually had about a 2-year soft launch on the coffee business because we've been putting people on coffee for so long. So when they said, hey, we're going to do coffee, I thought, really, coffee? And then I thought, oh my gosh, the majority of our income already comes from coffee. So when they said coffee, I didn't hear coffee. I heard more money. That's how it related. And so, and for, I'm probably like you. If I'm doing a keto coffee, I'm doing it because I'm trying to get a keto coffee result. I'm not doing keto coffee because I want to drink a keto coffee. I want coffee.
Yeah.
No butter, none of this mess. I want coffee. And so when they came out with Skinny Brew, something that helps you think clearer, something that keeps you satisfied, it satiates that appetite for the day, especially if you're doing that intermittent fasting like I do. I mean, I saw that and I thought, man, this is exactly what I need, because this is how I want to start my day. This is what I want at noon. This is what I want at 2 in the afternoon. And so I love our keto coffee, but as a coffee guy, man, I was super excited. And as a guy who likes expensive stuff, I was even more excited.
It's affordable. Yeah. No, I'm a coffee guy. And I was actually, Brandy and I was nervous to try it because I'm like, I'm so picky when it comes to coffee, you know?
Yeah, I was that way too. Yeah, I feel you.
I love the taste, but I love the message. And so I'm appealing to a lot of men out there. I mean, what I love about this story, Jason, is that, this company became an amazing company, and it was, driven primarily by a rap. People used to make fun of the rap. They were like the crazy rap company. And now 2019, the company launched over 30 new products. They opened 4 new countries. These were things that, set me on fire. I got real excited to,
absolutely,
to be a part of this. So, but let's talk about residual income. So I think for a lot of people, they have a vehicle, right? And right now, there's never been a time in our history, you said this before, we haven't had a quarantine as a country for, I think, 100 years. So now people are at home, they're thinking more, they're doing some things they haven't thought about doing. They're checking things off the list, right? And spending more time, quality time with their spouse and their children. But we're also all thinking of more. So let's get into the conversation of residual income. Most people, as you know, and people watching, they trade time in hours and they get a paycheck. When they stop trading time in hours, they stop getting paid. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people right now, and a lot of our friends, Jason, I'm sure with you guys too, that all of a sudden they're not working now, or they've been laid off, or there's a temporary hold. And I'm glad we have a stimulus program, and I know there's other things, but I think for a lot of people, Jason, it's kind of a twofold part of this conversation is this is a wake-up call. So share your thoughts on this being a wake-up call for people. And then secondly, the power of residual income, money that comes into your household every month, whether you and Ashley and the kids get out of bed or not.
Yeah, well, before we joined this business, we worked in 2 other pay models. The first model that was for me as a pastor was a salary model. Now, salary is when they work you more than you get paid for. That's what salary does. Salary is we're going to give you a set amount. You're going to know what you're going to make every month. And then really your hourly rate's going to look terrible because instead of having you come in for 40 hours, we're going to have you come in for 70, but we're going to pay you the same. So that was the first thing that I was familiar with as a person in the labor force. The second one, when we started our own business, the one that I mentioned earlier, it cost me over $10,000 to do, was a business that I started where I had to go out and do work in order to generate income. So as I'm out working and doing hours, I'm getting paid. I'll be honest with you. I cannot imagine being in either one of those scenarios right now. And I just want to say this because I have a close personal friend who is on salary with an organization right now, and they have been told from the top down, I know that we're in quarantine, but we pay you to be here, and we do not care. And so they have to keep going to work regardless. And he's terrified because he lives in one of the most populated cities in America. And so he's still having to go out and go to work every day. I can't imagine all of the people right now who are the photographers and the videographers and the construction workers who have to go out and do to make money. And now they're hearing that even if they want to go out and do, there are things out of their control getting canceled. And you're 100% responsible for your own income and whatever responsibilities you have. I cannot imagine coming into this moment without the residual income pay model that we have. And I'll say this, residual income aside, because that's certainly one of the greatest benefits of how we make money in this industry. What the great benefit is right now is that we can make money and more money and more money. We can kick it, drive it, make it happen. And we can do all of that from home, from social media, from our computers. I'm on a Zoom with you right now. Ashley's on the other side of the house on another Zoom account, kicking, driving, making it happen. And so we're able to do that from right here, and our money still go up. So I love the residual, but I also love the fact that bonuses, whether those be our unlimited weekly bonuses or our rank up bonuses that we're able to get, we're able to do all of that still right now. So
yeah,
residual is great, but the fact that we can lock down at home and make money and meet with people and help other people make money and help people get started on a journey where they themselves can start to feel some relief, man, I don't think you can beat that with a stick.
No, and you're absolutely right. And I'm excited to ask you this question because I've heard you talk about this before, but Jason, there's a lot of men out there right now. There's a lot of people out there right now, and they want to do something, right? It's like Jim Rohn says, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want to get better, you have to get better. But when it comes to the finances, the men out there today, a lot of them that don't take that step, they become passive, right? They're having fears. Talk to us. I love when you talk about facing and conquering fears. And if you don't mind just sharing a few minutes of that, how do we get over our fears? How do we face them?
Well, the the phrase we've been using in our house a lot lately, it's almost like the mantra for me and Ashley at the moment. And frankly, I don't even know if it's inappropriate or not, but I like the way it sounds, is we just keep saying, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
Whoa,
you got to risk it for the biscuit. And the fact of the matter is, I understand. I get it. Whenever we make an adjustment, whenever we do something new, there is a fear of the unknown. As a matter of fact, a lot of people say that the opposite of faith is fear. Actually, the opposite of faith is control. Because we want to lock down and we want to keep control of all of the things. And it's funny, when we start looking at the prospect of something greater, the prospect of something better, we start being afraid of things that affect the things we're doing already. I mean, if you're in sales or you go and you report to a job every day, the same questions. What if they don't want it? What if they don't like it? What if they think I'm not good enough? What if they make fun of me? That stuff all affects you right now.
Yeah.
So you might as well just get over it and do it. And I'll tell you this, when I look at the potential in my life, I have learned to stop stopping. I have learned that you just have to take the step. It's not always easy, but you have to take the step. You have to do it. I get it. I want to make sure that I'm sympathetic because I understand. I understand it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to make a change. Right now in our life, there are some things that we need to do to go to the next level. And you want to know something? It freaks us out.
Yeah.
But the difference between us and most people is I've already made the phone calls, I've already made the commitments, and now I'm just freaking out for no reason, but I've already decided I'm heading in that direction. And so I would say that anybody who says, I want more, but I don't want it at risk, or I don't want to pay the price, honey, you've got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, I like it.
You have to step over that line. I understand it's scary, but you just have to do it. And here's the fact of the matter. Because I also know there are moments in our industry and in the industry at large where we sell you the dream. Because here's the reality. Here's the reality of my financial situation, okay? If I want to do it, I do it. I don't really, the last couple of weeks I've said, you know what? We'll wait a second. It also helps that Amazon Prime ain't bringing stuff for like 18 days. So you got a minute to reconsider some purchases. We're like anybody else right now. We're waiting, we're seeing. But on an average day, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't have to think about it. I spend $100 like I used to spend $20. It's just there's not a lot of stuff that's a big deal to me anymore. And I understand that we sell that sometimes and we show you that because there's that potential. But the reality is that potential is brought into fruition by making decisions and doing the work. Making decisions and doing the work. And I know some of you out there who are watching this who are thinking, I want to do it. I want to do it, but it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. I remember my first network marketing company, Mike, they said, if you just wear this button, if you just wear this button, you'll be rich. This guy's making $35,000 a month. He told me, if you wear this button, you'll be living like me. And I'm telling you right now, that button ain't going to make you $35,000 a month. But if you're watching and you're going, I don't believe it's that easy, and if they'll just tell me what it takes, I'll do it. Let me tell you what it takes. Let me tell you, sir, it takes work, it takes determination, it takes a decision, and it takes you getting off your behind and joining today. Some of you who are ready to make some money and to make a change in your life, and you're tired of being held hostage by the fact that your boss gets to decide whether or not you're going to make money. Folks, some of you out there just found out how quickly the government can shut down your income. And that's not a political statement. I'm a little surprised by it too. I'm also not saying that you need to fly in the face of the government and go out right now and do whatever you want, because I don't think that's smart either. But the government said, we have to make a change. We have an issue on our hand. There is a crisis. It's a virus. It could have been an attack on homeland soil. It could have been 100,000 things that caused us to be in this situation. But if you don't have control of your income, you're feeling that right now. And you have an opportunity. Some work, some determination, make a decision, cross that line, you can be in control.
Man, that was powerful. You got me all wound up here. I love it. But I'm almost embarrassed to tell people I've been having a struggle. It's $49 to join. And I love it because they have a promotion going on this month. They just announced a BOGO today. So I tell a lot of people, I say, look, if you're not ready to take the leap of faith for your income, take that leap of faith for your health, because we can deliver right to your front door. We're like Amazon with a hug, as Mark would say, right?
Yeah.
So in wrapping this up here, Jason, this has been awesome, man. I'm enjoying myself. I love listening to you. I don't tell you that enough, by the way. You ever see me when we go to those masterminds with all the couples? I've got my journal out, and I tell that to Brandy, because no, you're just a dynamic speaker, and you simplify messages. You really like the biscuit one, right? I'm not going to forget that, but it's like those little things go a long way. I think men require simplicity.
Hey, speaking as one, I believe that's probably the truth.
Men, it's $49 to join. Just what Jason said, just do it. Stop thinking, just simplify your life, do it. No, but I love that. In wrapping this up though, we've got a timing and a positioning situation here. And what I love about it, and going back to your story and kind of wrapping this up here, and I want you to close this out, Jason, and thinking about people that are tuning in and listening here today, they look at a guy like you, and hearing your story, but you guys have put your time in. You put a lot of work and effort, everything that you're, what I love about guys like you is that you don't just tell me what to do. You've already shown me what to do. You've already shown a lot of people what to do. So you've been there and you've done that. You continue to do it. So the benefits that you're enjoying right now in your life, the fruits of your labor, again, you put that time in. But now we've got a company that's been around for nearly 20 years. They just launched international expansion, launched all these new products, Skinny being a highlight right now. The timing and the position. What do you say to the men out there when you think of being in the right place at the right time? Let's wrap up with that.
Well, I mean, I think it's we have, both of us actually have the benefit of being a little closer to the center of the fire. When we walk into a room with the leaders in our company, we are able to walk up to the front row without wondering if we should be there. So there's some things that we know and we hear that I understand that if you're watching this, you may be getting second, third, fourth hand as information. And it's easy for you to maybe listen and hear, we're positioned for growth. We're positioned for our income to go up. We're positioned as a company at whole for everyone's income to go up. I'll be honest with you. 4 to 5 weeks ago, I would have said the great benefit of this moment in time where our company is positioned is that the company is ready for everything to rise. However, in the last 2 weeks, international expansion is fantastic. The products that we have are fantastic. But we are living in a moment where there is a window of opportunity. And that window of opportunity is that you just got a lot of free time on your hands. You can't go do anything anyway. So golf is done. Going and spending time at the store, it's done. Going to the movies is done. You've got a lot of time on your hands, but also there are an incredible amount of people who are afraid right now that they're going to lose their income, that are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs, that are afraid of what's going to come, that actually need help. They actually will need help within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's really going to hit in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Because listen, everybody right now is going, well, I lost my job, but they're coming out with a stimulus package. And for those of you who've never gotten a paycheck from the government, by the way, we have. I know what them $731 checks look like from the government, okay? For those of you that have never gotten a check from the government, I have news for you. They're lower than you hope that they will be. And they're lower than you need for them to be. And so in the next 2 to 3 weeks, people are going to feel the need that they need an income. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself this question. Do you want to be the person that is helped by your friend, or do you want to be the person that helps your friend? And that's all going to come down to timing. That's all going to come down to timing. We have so many people in our personal organization that have joined within just moments of each other, and that determined what that stack looks like and who's helping who. And so I would encourage you. I don't even know that the word encourage is strong enough. I would admonish you. Take the step today, because the reality is we're in a unique time in history. I was having a conversation, and hopefully this is not too incredibly transparent, but I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I said, because we're doing well and we've been doing well, the company's been doing well. I mean, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. But I was having a conversation saying, I feel like pushing to the next level, there is more obstacle than there has been previously. And I said, why do you think that is? And he looked at me and he said, because everyone is doing too well right now. And that changed about 17 days ago.
Wow.
And the full effects of that are about to be felt. And I'm telling you, now is the greatest time to build your business. Why? Because you're going to go and take advantage of a bunch of people who are in need? No, because you're going to go help a bunch of people who are in need. Yeah. Our number one income earners in the company, personal friends of mine, personal friends of Mike's, they started in the housing crisis in 08 and 09. And now they're the number one income earners in the company. And if you went back to that moment and asked, do you feel like you got taken advantage of because you were in a tough spot? I promise you, they would say, if we got taken advantage of, take advantage of me again. because it's been helpful to them. And you're going to have an opportunity to help a lot of people, but only if you help yourself. You got to put on your own mask before you help someone else with their mask.
Man, I mean, I think we're just going to wrap it right there with the bow. Jason, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you. And, I love the fact that, this is a message. Today, I hope some people jumped on my live. I'm not a real big Facebook guy, so if you're on there, thank you. But during this week, next week, as you said, setting the stage, throughout the next couple of months, people will watch these videos. And as you do so well, you've been changing a lot of lives, but your message was very powerful today, Jason. Can't thank you enough. We appreciate it. Tell the family, hola, and we'll see you guys soon after we get out of this quarantine. But thank you, bro. Really appreciate you.
Hey, love you guys a ton.
Yes, thank you. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.